there's a couple different reasons why NBA players, basketball players, athletes in general, boycotting their own sport will always be ineffective. The reason why boycotting in general will always be ineffective. And one of the reasons is, if all the NBA players who are currently in the league decided they were going to not just boycott, but quit playing basketball altogether, at that point, these NBA franchises would tap into their reserves. Because currently, there's a college generation of players who are waiting to become NBA players. There's the high school level players who are waiting to become college players, waiting to become NBA players, all the way down to middle school, elementary school, the child leagues. They have reserves. They have continual stock of black bodies that they are ready to exploit to continue their business. And this is essentially the reason why boycotting in general, well, it's not the only reason why, but it's a pretty big reason why boycotting doesn't work, because you have a handful of black people who feel a certain kind of way, and they decide that, okay, we're not going to do this, we're not going to participate in this way anymore. And what happens is that there's still those reserves, there's still those stocks, there's still those black people who, for whatever purpose, they're still going to go out and they're still going to participate in those very things that we're trying to turn ourselves away from. And this is essentially the nature of a people who are totally dependent on their oppressors. And black people to this day have not gained any kind of independence from our oppressor. Everything that we try to establish, or everything that we participate in, is all in that word. It's participation, because we don't own or control any of it. I think there may be, one or two black NBA franchise owners now. Maybe Jay-Z's one of them. I think Michael Jordan might have had stake in the team, but the relationship is still essentially the same. White people have the power, white people control, and black people provide the energy. Black folks provide the soul and the essence. We make this thing go. We're going to have to do everything that we can to gain our independence from these people, and all of these non-violent, passive-aggressive sort of methods have been ineffective for ages now. Boycotting, the players are putting catchphrases on their jerseys, little slogans and whatnot, trying to draw an emotional response from people, I suppose. But you have to realize that there's different forms of racism. There's economic racism, there's political racism, but the main tool of racism is violence. And unless you're going to address the violence, unless you're going to address the brutality with violence and with brutality, well, then you're not going to get over the political racism. You're not going to end the economic racism. You have to neutralize the racist. You have to take care of the racist. Racism doesn't exist as some sort of disembodied entity that just floats around and possesses different people at different times because they weren't strong enough to resist the malice in their heart. No, racism is an instrument that bigots and white people, the people of disordered entities, these mutant spirits, these mutated people, these degenerate, deviant people. Racism, violent racism, is one of their methods of maintaining the imbalance of power, because we've allowed ourselves to be brainwashed with the propagandizing of Martin Luther King and the Mahatma Gandhi bullshit and the non-violence, and now you got motherfuckers like Michelle Obama. Oh, when they go low, we go high. What does that fucking mean? What is that? It doesn't mean anything. It's ambiguous. It's an ambiguous term that powerless people use, because Doesn't matter if your enemy has the low ground. Doesn't matter if your enemy has the high ground. You still have to neutralize that enemy. And like I said, you're not going to neutralize your enemy with these feel-good type of mantras. So that's pretty much what I want to get at, man. Trying to find your identity in this world, you have to make sure that you have a base in reality. And I have to say that athletes, and actors, and entertainers, they are furthest from, black reality as any black people can actually be, because not only are they participating, but they are going to fight to maintain their advantages or what they've gained through their participation. So no matter how upset they appear to be on Twitter, no matter what they say on social media, when it comes down to putting themselves in a position to potentially take themselves out of that advantageous position, that's where they're going to stop short. They're not going to give up that lifestyle. They're not going to give up their being able to identify as celebrities. They never let go of that willingly. And the ones that do, you see them in interviews 5 or 10 years later, they're out of their goddamn minds. So yeah, that sums it up, man. Y'all have a good night.